Luna's Howl, one of the most iconic hand cannons in Destiny history, has finally returned, this time with random rolls. Now, we had a little taste of this a few weeks ago using the old Luna's Howl, and essentially just getting a look at the rework to Magnificent Howl. But today, though, we're going to be digging into everything. We're going to talk about PvE and PvP, and ultimately, we want to answer the question, is Luna's Howl worth grinding for? Now, to lay the foundation first for Luna's Howl, understand what this weapon is. It's a 140 round per minute hand cannon, but it's a precision frame. Kind of like Rose, where Rose is a hybrid version of a 140 and a lightweight frame 150 that we used to have. That's essentially what Luna's Howl is. And that's because originally it was a 180 round per minute hand cannon. It was eventually nerfed to being a 150. Then Bungie went in and knocked it down to a 140 when they got rid of 150 round per minute hand cannons. And that's where it is today. Now, the reason why this is important is that this greatly affects how this weapon shoots. If you notice here, it doesn't quite fire like a normal hand cannon. It's got this vertical straight up and down recoil similar to other 180 round per minute hand cannons, which, let's be real, you either love or you absolutely hate. But intrinsically, this frame also has plus 25 airborne effectiveness, which is a nice little addition here for my folks that do take to the air with Luna's Howl. Now, stat-wise, there's not a whole lot that stands out besides the high AE. Everything else like range, handling, stability, as well as reload are pretty much right in the middle of the pack. Not the worst, but not the best. But really, it all comes down to the perks. In our third column, we have Hill Clip, Subsistence, Eye of the Storm, Slide Shot, Discord, Encore, and Inline Action. In our fourth column, we have Magnificent Howl, Incandescent, Desperate Measures, Kill Clip, Precision Instrument, Opening Shot, and Harmony. Now, right away, there is a lot of solid options here on Luna's Howl. But let's start with the perk that is iconic for Luna's Howl, that being Magnificent Howl. Now, this perk received a complete rework with the launch of Into the Light, stating that the number of precision final blows before reloading affects the total rounds granted with increased range and damage. And precision final blows with Magnificent Howl being active extends the effect for additional rounds. Now, this will stack up to 10 times, with each precision kill giving you 1 stack. Now, keep in mind, this is precision final blows, not precision hits, which is a major deviation to what Magnificent Howl used to work like. What this does grant us, though, is a 50% damage bonus for however many shots of Magnificent Howl we have. Now, there's also boost range, and based on our range testing back in the OG Luna's Howl, Magnificent Howl bullets grant us roughly an extra 3 meters of range. Additionally, precision kills you get while Magnificent Howl is active extends the effect, meaning if your precision kill only takes 1 shot, you'll still be at 10. So if your precision kill takes 2 shots, then you'll be at 9 instead of 8, since the last shot gets extended. Now, keep in mind, Magnificent Howl, along with all of our other traits, will be retroactively enhanceable in the final shape. Now, we don't really know exactly what that means for an enhanced version of Magnificent Howl. Bungie could just simply increase the stacks. Maybe you can hold something like maybe 12 or 11 stacks of Magnificent Howl. Part of me wonders if they could do some sort of rework to where like a meteor target, like a yellow bar or even an orange bar, will grant multiple stacks of Magnificent Howl, and maybe the enhanced version will play into that. We don't know yet, but we'll see. Now, my first instinct was to pair Magnificent Howl with something that will help me with refunding ammunition before reloading, so that I can take advantage of getting to max stacks. Since at base, Luna only has 10 shots in the mag. And the first perk we were drawn to was Slide Shot, where sliding partially reloads this weapon's magazine and temporarily boosts range and stability. This is going to refill 15% of the magazine when sliding, which is 2 shots back in the mag. And it also provides us plus 20 range and plus 20 stability for your next shot within 2.5 seconds of sliding. It has a small cooldown of 0.3 seconds, but Slide Shot is an excellent perk, especially in PvP. And Slide Shot, Mag Howl, and PvP is a wonderful pairing. Now, with the enhanced version, this is going to give us an extra plus 5 in range and plus 5 in stability. So it's all around a stat monster, both passively and when we slide. This has been a top tier perk though for years. Even in my God Roll Rose, I use Slide Shot all the time. And the ability to just run and gun and never stop to reload is really amazing in all game types. And the beautiful thing about Slide Shot with Magnificent Howl is that it allows us to take as many shots as we need in order to get those 10 stacks, since we can just slide to refill ammo, and this doesn't count as an actual reload, therefore not proccing Magnificent Howl until we are ready. Now, we can also achieve a similar playstyle with Subsistence, which reads that defeating targets partially reloads the magazine from reserves. Now, this refills 10% of the mag. So at our base mag of 10, this is plus 1 round every kill. Now, the enhanced version of Subsistence is really good, as it will refill 20% 50% of the magazine on kills, so that would net us 2 shots back per kill. Keep in mind, with subsistence, you can influence this with mag boosting perks. So for something like extended mag, which has 13 shots, it was rounding up. So even base subsistence here, not enhanced, was giving us 2 rounds back every kill. Now, what this really means is that these 2 perks contribute to getting Magnificent Howl and having multiple super shots at the ready when you want to manually reload to start doing that extra 50% more damage. The question is though, is this perk worth using? First up, I want to start talking about PvE. Guys, I don't know. I don't know if it's really worth using out of the other options we see here for Luna's Howl. Even when we did damage testing with it, when paired with things like Lucky Pants, yes, it put out good damage, but considering it's locked to being a 140 round per minute hand cannon, it really falls behind weapons like Malfeasance and Warden's Law and other faster rate of fire weapons. I love the 50% damage buff, but it's a lot of hoops you're having to jump through just for 1 shot. Considering you could take literally any damage perk here, like Kill Clip or Desperate Measures, Precision Instruments, and you could proc those damage buffs over and over and carry it over with a lot of ease of use, and it's not being tied to just 1 shot. Magnificent Howl is not a perk I would be utilizing inside of PvE. Even if you were to stack up those 10 shots, you'll be amazed how quickly you go through that. That's still just 1 base magazine, which is why I said the enhanced version of Mag Howl really needs to be something that contributes more stacks, and perhaps even based on the enemy type that you kill. Now that's all fine because at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure most of us knew that Magnificent Howl is more PvP centered, as it does grant us the ability to 2-tap. But considering that Luna's Howl has these other trait combinations, and it's a solar weapon, here are some of the trait combinations that I would be looking for. First up, we have Incandescent, where defeating a target spreads Scorch to those nearby, and more powerful combatants and opposing guardians cause Scorch in a larger radius. Now listen, Incandescent is one of my favorite perks. It gives you that small solar explosion. It applies 30 stacks of Scorch at base, that being 40 stacks with Ember of Ashes, and with the enhanced version of Incandescent, this will up our Scorch stacks to 45. The top tier perk for PvE, guys, and there are a ton of solar weapons we use every day with Incandescent, especially hand cannons. You've got Apocalypse, Zalo's Bane, but one of my favorite Incandescent weapons in the game is Heliocentric with Incandescent and Heal Clip. That is a wonderful synergistic combination, and it is present right here on Luna's Howl. You can get Luna's Howl with Heal Clip, which reads that reloading shortly after dealing a final blow grants cure to you and nearby allies. Now this got a substantial buff earlier this season. It now grants you cure ×2 to yourself, which is a whopping 110 HP immediately. Then you have cure ×1, which goes to nearby allies when you reload, which is 60 HP to them. Now the enhanced version of Heal Clip doesn't really do a whole lot, just simply increases the amount of time you have before reloading to proc Heal Clip. But Heal Clip is a perk I utilize all the time, and considering we have activities like Pantheon, where things are only going to get more and more difficult, perks like Heal Clip will keep you alive in those contest mode environments. Now what we love most about Incandescent and Heal Clip is that solar subclass synergy. It's one of the easiest ways to proc Ember of Benevolence among a number of solar fragments that all synergize here. And we covered this pretty in depth in our heliocentric review. Now if you're not feeling Heal Clip, you can easily slot it out for things like slide shots or even subsistence in order to avoid reloads. Inline action is also a pretty good one, as that helps with both reload speed and handling, with every hit from this hand cannon giving us 3 stacks of inline action, which is about +12 reload and +12 handling. This actually will ramp all the way up to 12 stacks, which is roughly 4 shots. Stat wise, it's a monster. We're talking +50 reload speed and +50 handling, with the enhanced version granting us +5 maximum stacks, which would be +55 reload speed and +55 handling. Now the reload speed and handling buffs you get here feels really nice. Now for my other perks that do damage, you have Kill Clip, you've got Desperate Measures, Precision Instrument is also present here, Harmony is also present here, which is a 20% buff when getting a kill with another weapon. And look, I like all these perks, but for me the PvE role is Incandescent, Heal Clip all day long. There's just too much synergy there. Now this takes me to what I truly want on Luna's Howl. The God Roll for PvE and even for PvP in some aspects, Slide Shot, Magnificent Howl, Heal Clip, and Incandescent. Again, I'm not that crazy about Mag Howl and PvE, but I'm willing to give the enhanced version a try. So in terms of a shiny drop, those are the trait combinations that I would want going into the final shape. Now, before we move on into PvP, I do need to go over the origin traits. Just like our other brave weapons, they come with the origin trait called Indomitability, where final blows grant grenade energy when playing a light subclass or melee energy when playing a darkness subclass. Now, this is going to be 5% grenade ability energy on a light subclass and 5% melee ability energy on a darkness subclass. which of course would beautifully synergize with Solar 3.0 and the ability energy you just passively get back for getting kills. With that Incandescent heal clip roll, if you were to take advantage of Ember of Benevolence, this just gives you 400% additional base grenade, melee, and class ability energy just for applying Cure, Radiant, and Restoration or reviving allies, which is so easy for a heal clip roll. You've got Ember of Searing, which grants melee ability energy when killing Scorch enemies, which you can easily achieve with Incandescent. And this is somewhere between 8 to 25% depending on the type of enemy that you kill. Searing also grants us Fire Sprites, which will give us 12.5% grenade ability energy on pickup. And then we have Ember of Singeing, which grants us 300% additional base class ability regeneration for 2 seconds after applying Scorch. You tag on Ember of Ashes, guys, and we're cooking with even more Scorch stacks. The point is that this is a proven combination that we have utilized on other weapons before. And despite Luna's Howl being mainly looked at as a PvP only weapon for so long due to its static role, it's very much a solid choice for my PvE players here. Now, PvP. Ah, yes. Dude, years ago, man, I remember reviewing Luna's Howl for the first time, and dude, was it not incredible? Both Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten ruled the Crucible, and it dominated pretty much every hand cannon out there. There was nothing that could beat it. Granted, it was a 180 back then. It also had an incredibly fast time to kill, and it could still 2-tap even then, although that wasn't necessarily intentional. Now, damage-wise, Luna's Howl does 81 damage per crit and 45 damage per body. Its range at 41 base will hit up to 29.54 meters. Now, if you were to crank it out with full bore, ricochet rounds, a ranged masterwork, we're talking 33.59 meters. Now, most of you are probably not going to want to use full bore, so with Hammer Forge, ricochet, and a ranged masterwork, we're hitting about 32.91 meters, almost 33. Now, time to kill wise, just like our other 140 round per minute hand cannons, it's 3 crits in 0.87 seconds, and that's all resilience levels. But then we have Magnificent Howl. Again, the number of precision final blows before reloading affects the total rounds granted with both increased range and damage. And the range is a whopping 3 meters. The damage is substantial here, kicking it up to 122 damage per crit. Now, what this means is, yes, Magnificent Howl can 2-tap. Now, I know that seems to be the big focus, the 2-tap and potential. And don't get me wrong, killing someone in 0.43 seconds with 2 shots is a beautiful thing. But keep in mind, guys, you've got to get 2 precision kills, then reload to then have 2 super shots that will grant you the 2-tap. This is much different than, say, something like Hawkmoon, which is a great dueling weapon, especially in a setting like Trials of Osiris, where as the duel goes on, your weapon is getting stronger and stronger to the point where you have the potential to either 2-tap or even 1-tap with that ultimate Kaka shot. Magnificent Howl, though, requires you to get 2 whole precision kills. What I found, though, was that I was relying on Magnificent Howl less for the 2-tap and more for just that 1 shot being amped. For instance, you could 2-crit 1 body with Magnificent Howl. This is definitely much more forgiving than 3 crits. Now, the other benefit is actually tied to its elemental type. You see, this is a solar weapon, and this season we have artifact mods like Flint Striker, which state that rapid solar weapon precision hits and rapid solar weapon final blows grant radiant. The beautiful thing about this is that just 1 shot of Magnificent Howl, it being a crit, plus radiant, this allows for the 2-tap. Matter of fact, you could 2-tap Guardians tier 6 resilience and below. So you don't even need 2 Magnificent Howl shots to get that 2-tap. But keep in mind what 2 Magnificent Howl shots actually presents. Not only does it give you the ability to 2-tap in those 0.43 seconds, but it also extends that range. Ultimately, you could 2-tap all the way up to 37 meters, depending on your role. And that's impressive. With that being said, though, how did I feel about Magnificent Howl, as well as Luna's Howl as a whole? Fellas, let me just say I have had 2 very different experiences with Luna's Howl when playing PvP. You see, on mouse and keyboard, I hated it. Matter of fact, the entire time I was using it, I just wanted to take it off and put on literally any other hand cannon, whether that be my God Roll Rose or Midnight Coup, or even my favorite energy hand cannon, Nation of Beasts. Now, I know no one likes that hand cannon, but it's one of my favorites, and I especially like it on mouse and keyboard. Luna's Howl, though, on mouse and keyboard just doesn't feel good to me. I'm not saying you guys can't use it. If you guys love it, by all means, go right ahead. I'm just saying for me personally, on mouse and keyboard, I didn't care for it. At the same time, I plugged in a controller, my janked up stick drift controller, and my God, it felt like the good old days. Luna's Howl on controller feels better than it's ever felt before. I'm talking consistent 3-taps, 2-taps, snagging crit shots that it ain't got no business snagging. If you're a controller player and you like hand cannons, fellas, you need to be using Luna's Howl then. And look, this isn't the first time that we've had certain hand cannons feel better on specific input devices. Look no further than that of Last Word. Luna's Howl here feels substantially better on controller to me. And if I was a controller main or or if I just played on console. Hands down, that slide shot Magnificent Howl roll with Hammer Forge, Ricochet, or High Cow with the range masterwork would be the way I would go all day long. You've got a tremendous amount of range. You've got Mag Howl that will boost your range even more. And you got slide shot topping things off. Now I did use another trait combination, which was also interesting, that being Hill Clip and Precision Instrument. And I really just wanted to see, without the help of something like slide shot or Eye of the Storm, would Luna's Howl still feel good in my hand, specifically on controller? Considering Hill Clip doesn't necessarily help the weapon itself. It gives you the cure benefits and the health back, but nothing else. Guys, let me just say, even without slide shots or Eye of the Storm, just rocking my Hill Clip roll here, it felt good. And I actually really like Precision Instrument here on controller. You see, on Guardians tier 5 Resilience and below, you can one body 2 crits and still secure the kill. Again, Precision Instrument grants you those damage increases when dealing sustained damage. So if that first shot is a body shot, the second and third shot being crits, you can get that kill. And if you were to pair Radiant with Precision Instruments, you can one body 2 crits on all Guardians at maximum resilience. So for my PvP players, in my opinion, the 2 traits you're gonna want on your shiny god roll in that 4th column is Magnificent Howl or Precision Instruments. To me, that's what I want. I like Precision Instruments. It helps out a lot. I like the increase in damage, especially going from target to target. And I just sat there spamming my shots on the controller and it would just find the target. And when those hits were precision, it was amping out more damage. As far as that 3rd column goes, it's really hard to say because I like slide shot for Mag Howl, but there are ways to navigate around it. You can do things like transversal steps and other means to auto reload your weapon. Eye of the Storm is also present here, which is really, really good. And I would say if you're looking for 2 traits that are going to lock down your duels and help you in those gunfights, then slide shot, Eye of the Storm are fantastic in that 3rd trait column. I would still stand by Hill Clip though, just saying. I love Hill Clip. I think it's fantastic. So many times I get a kill and somebody rushes me thinking I'm going to be one shot and then boom, I'm back in the gunfight with Hill Clip. Overall, guys, if you are a console player or you play controller on PC, Luna's Howl is a must-have. It is a phenomenal hand cannon for you. And if you're a mouse and keyboard player and you're like, dude, I hate this, I get it. Again, it's not my favorite by no means, but keep in mind, I almost feel like Luna's Howl from the very beginning was designed with this intention to be that hand cannon that could be dominant in a controller player's hands. And Luna's Howl right now definitely is. Now, I've gotten some comments, why would I use Luna's Howl right now when literally Not Forgotten is about to be on sunset? That's a fair point. But keep in mind, guys, stat-wise, you're pretty much right there neck and neck with what Not Forgotten presents. That Hammer Forge Ricochet round roll with slide shot and Magnificent Howl, that puts it at 66 range and 67 stability, and you've got 45 AE. Not Forgotten, with the range masterwork, sits at 71 range, 57 stability, and 35 AE. So they're very close. Where Not Forgotten actually falls a bit behind, though, is in the handling stats, because extended barrel gives you -10 handling. Luna's Howl is sitting at a healthy 45. So something to keep in mind, fellas. At the same time, though, you've got Zim Moment, which I know is such a great perk, but like I said a second ago, perks like Slide Shot really aids Magnificent Howl. My last suggestion for my folks using Mag Howl, don't always go for the 2-tap. You can be greedy if you want in 6v6, but in my opinion, if you're in 3v3, it's completely fine going for just one single Magnificent Howl shot. Take advantage of it, let it do a hefty amount of damage, and it's easy cleanup from there. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.